guys, the weather this afternoon, we had everything you could possibly imagine, but it was a game that, from outside looking in, looks to be played with pace and energy. How was it?
That was a tough game for us because the opponents are playing very well, but I think we deserve to win because we fight until the end, and yeah, I'm very happy about the win.
Look, you opened the scoring today. You sort of were up there on your own. Was your only option just to have a go?
Yeah, I worked this week a lot about the finishing, and today I scored this goal, so I'm very happy for me, and I hope so that I'm gonna help the team more and yeah, keep going.
Yeah, congratulations on that. Mo, have you been waiting for your first Tottenham goal?
Yeah, definitely. As an attacker, it boosts a lot of your confidence to score, you know. But big credit to all the team today. You know, I think everyone put a lot of effort in, and I want to give Mathys a lot of big credit because it's been tough not playing as a player, but how he carry himself, training every day and getting ready to like he showed today, you know. So it's a big applause to him, and then I'm a big fan of how he comports himself and train every day even though he's not playing, you know. So I'm happy he got his first goal and many more to come.
How do you feel hearing those type of words? Tottenham seem to be such a cohesive team. You all really seem to be together.
Yeah, the mentality is important for us, always together, work together and win together. That's what we showed today. So yeah, I'm very happy again about the win, about the mentality that we showed. And we did it for the team, for the fans as well. So yeah, we just need to keep going and focus on the next game.
Well, yeah, look, the fans, you mentioned them there, they're here in the rain, still training. This feels like a huge win today. Moves you unbeaten in 7, moves you second in the Premier League table before anyone else plays. It's the right end of the table to be.
Yeah, 100%, you know, before the international break. So now the full focus is go and represent our country and then come back on the same focus because it's going to be tough schedule with a lot of games and good points to fight for. So it's a big step towards the right direction.
Well, thank you for standing out in the rain doing this with me. One more thing to do. Mathys, can you please present this to Mo Kudus? Look at the smile on his face.
And Peter Crouch and Joe Hart watching along with me, and there were big celebrations at the end of that, Peter, weren't there, from Thomas Frank? Why do you think that felt like such a big win?
I think, you know, coming back away from Europe, again away from home, a difficult place. Leeds being promoted, and we know how hostile the environment is here. They play on the front foot, and Tottenham Hotspur, you know, been accused over the years numerous times of being flaky, you know, and I think Thomas Frank's really addressing that. I think the points now away from home, 14 points, 10 are away from home. I mean, that's fantastic form to any time in the Premier League to come and win, and off the back of a European game, to come away again and get another result is fantastic.
Do you feel like this is the sort of game, as Peter was saying, that Spurs may have perhaps lost in the past because of the conditions, because of just how well Leeds competed today?
Yeah, I think that has happened in the recent past. But Thomas Frank, you know, he's looking to shake that. He's established himself with Brentford, made him a really, really solid team. And if you can bring that with also the quality that he's got in this Tottenham squad, it could be really dangerous. But I just think the jubilation today is off the back of when you're in the Champions League and when you're playing in Europe, it's tough. Premier League, going away from home last week, getting that late draw. I think they did it the week before against Wolves, and it's a really, really good week for them with a tough, hard-fought victory. But likes of Mathys Tell, who's not in that Champions League squad, I think Kudus just touched on it there. Still training hard, still believing in the manager and turning up for him today.
Still believe in the manager. How much credit do we have to give him? Because they finished 17th last season. Obviously, they won a European Cup as well, but they currently sit second. Just how do you think he has changed things?
I think it's the mentality. I think, you know, I've spent time with Thomas Frank, you know, when he was at Brentford, and he's a fantastic communicator. I think when you see him in the dressing room, the way he talks, I think he puts his arms around players, tells them how good they are, the qualities. And you can see there's a lot about tactics we talk in football, but also the personal level. You know, sometimes just being able to talk to someone, get the best out of them as people, positionally, tactically, you know, and give them confidence. And, you know, from my time spent with Thomas Frank, he's a good person to talk to and someone that lifts his players. And I think there's a lot to be said about that in an age now where, you know, it's all about tactics and right formations and the way you play. I think actually the personal level is something he has very, very good.
What is that personal touch like from him? You've obviously spent time with him as well, Joel. How good a leader do you think he is?
Well, do you know one thing, and it will sound so simple, but he just seems like a fair kind of guy. You work hard for him, you do what he's asked of you, and he'll back you to the hilt. You don't, I think there's going to be another version of him. I think Tottenham would have felt that with a couple of disappointing performances at home. There's a standard that he sets, but once you get into that rhythm and once everyone's working and pushing on the same page, the success comes. So it's proven, again with a good week, sitting pretty second in the league, good start to the Champions League. Really exciting times, but to touch on him, I think, and you talked about it before, Lindsay, when he comes over, he's one of those guys that you can speak to. He's very personable, very open. You can tell he absolutely adores the game and he's open. And I think to work with someone like that every day who's in charge of you, I think it's great that he's willing to hear people out and maybe hear different opinions.
And one of his new signings, Mohammed Kudus, has certainly hit the ground running, got the winner today, Peter. What did you like about his performance?
Yeah, I mean, we were saying it before he scored. You'd hate to play against him if you're a fullback. Like, he never seems to lose the ball. You know, he's one of those players so strong. Even when he's knocked on the floor, you know, get up with the ball between his legs. He can go past people when he's running at people. He's so dangerous, incredibly strong, and obviously ultimately he was the main man. And when he comes inside like this, he just goes past people for fun. I know it takes a deflection, but it was a great strike. Deserved it.
He just when he's on, he feels like a match winner. And just cutting in here, the options as they opened up, and he manages to rip it back. Carl Darlow relies on his defender to block that. But good players and good strikers, they'll look to go through legs because it's so difficult for the goalkeeper. And as he just reverses it here, Darlow knows straight away he's beaten. And that's such a big moment in a really tight game.
When you have a player like that, certainly away from home, you know, sometimes it's almost like an aimless clearance. And you have a player that can get onto it, he can hold the ball, he's so strong, he can go past people, he can get fouls for you. Away from home, having a player like that is invaluable.
And as a fan, that's what you want to see, a player who can excite you like that and get you off your seat at times. Yeah,
he does that. I mean, we've seen it at West Ham as well, but yeah, for me, like that, it's effortless. He's ghosting past people like they're not there, and you can't knock him off the ball. What I like about him as well, obviously, he's great running into space. This did let him down a little bit today, just on the finish, but he plays with almost his back to goal. As a fullback, you can roll it into him, and he'll hold someone off and bring others into play as well. You don't always get that from a winger. We were talking before, Joe, weren't we? Remember when wingers used to be lightweight?
Yeah.
Used to be able to target them. You know, he's so strong, you can't knock him off the ball.
I guess the concern when they signed him was whether they were going to get the Kudus from the end of his time at West Ham when his levels had dropped off, or the way he played in the season before for them. But he certainly looks like he's back to his best now.
Oh, he does. He looks solid. I really like the way he's interviewed. I've not really heard him speak much. I love the way he talked after the game. It felt like a real senior player who just wants to improve and wants to impress every week. And you see the way Thomas Frank congratulated him after. That's that personal touch. He knows what a big job he's done for him today.
You managed to get your celebration out today as well. You weren't too sure about that today. A bit risky.
He's sitting right in front of us here, right?
He's not read the room,
he sat down. He sat down in front of the Leeds fan. There was a lot getting thrown at him. He did well to avoid them.
He's a brave guy.
Yeah, well,
he really is.
Should we do that again?
He might think twice in the future. Joe, today as well, Vicario, a couple of big saves from him that really contributed to Spurs getting all 3 points.
Yeah, big moments, and you need these big moments in away performance. You know, as good as and well as you play, if you have good possession, but it's about these moments. It's the Kudus ripping it back through the legs and the goals, and it's the saves of Vicario today, who had a relatively quiet second half, to be honest. Got stuck under a few balls in the first half. You know, with the goal, people will always ask questions, but it was a good save to start with. What a take by Calvert-Lewin, beautiful pirouette. And just as it takes that deflection off Van der Ven, that outstretched left leg, really good save, great agility. And this is right late on in the game, 92nd, 93rd minute. You know as a goalkeeper you're going to have a big moment. That's his big moment. Great timing on the half volley. It's a good strike, really good strike. But what's clear is he wants to get it as far away from the goal as possible. And obviously when it falls onto a Tottenham head after it, he's able to celebrate the 3 points. But you need that little bit there, just a doggy, following up for his goalkeeper, helping him out. Massive mamoment. You can see what it means.
You must absolutely hate weather like this as a goalkeeper.
Yeah, as soon as it's the wind. As soon as I see the wind howling, I used to think, oh God, here we go. But when you're in the zone and you're in the focus, like I say, in that first half, it would have looked like on the TV, I'd imagine, that he was coming out flapping and not quite getting under the ball how he should. But just as it kicks and picks up speed in the air. It was hard to judge. You saw that with some of the Leeds crosses. So it's a really good feeling to walk off that field with a good performance and 3 points.
Joe was desperate to get those clips in of the keepers' union.
Got to be done, mate. Just as important as the goals, then.
He asked for it especially, so we thought we better put it in. But how highly do you rate him as a top-level keeper?
He's a good goalkeeper. I think you've got to really prove yourself. You want to go into that next bracket. You need that stability. You need your players knowing that no matter what angle they shoot from, they're backing the goalkeeper. And ultimately, in the Premier League, you want some good finishes. You want to be up in and around that Champions League mark. But if he can establish himself, which he has as the Tottenham #1, it's a great platform for him. So he can only build. Yeah,
Kudus got the Man of the Match award, but Xavi Simons could have staked a good claim today, do you think, with his performance?
Yeah, I think I'd say a work in progress. He's undeniable talent. I love watching him play. He does things that no one else on the field can do. But there was a couple of incidents, obviously the Rabona, when Romero's gone forward, I don't think if they'd have scored, he might have had a few words in the dressing room about that. But class act, there's no doubt. And I do think there's more to come from him. I think he'll be a player that Tottenham fans will love. But yeah, there's still work to be done.
Apart from picking his moments a bit more wisely in terms of the skill and the flair, where else can he get better?
Well, I just think probably in the final third, he kind of needs to add assists, maybe goals to his game. It's a similar situation, but he's a fantastic player. There's no denying it.
Welcome to Extra Time, live from Elland Road. Spurs beating Leeds 2-1 here. Matt says it was a brilliant win, that huge performance, a really tough test, the sort of game we've wilted in for years. And Amy saying really unlucky, deserved a point. Being clinical in the final third is what matters in the Premier League, and that is where we needed it the most. Proud of the lads, we go again. And Chris, a tough game today, sloppy at times, but the weather conditions probably played a part in that. But a big 3 points away from home before the international break. Get in. Just how does it feel going into the international break off the back of a win? Does it just change everything for you? Could you stew on it, probably, if not?
It's honestly horrendous when I've been in both sides of it. If you don't go away on international duty, you kind of take your mind off it if you're away on internationals. But if you're training around a training ground and you've either lost or won, if you've won, the days off are plenty. Which is always nice. You can go away somewhere. If you've lost, you're in, and you're going to be working on things. It's going to be consistent, and obviously the atmosphere's down. So it's always massive before the international.
Honestly, the buzz on the coach before, I'd imagine they'll fly home now. It's such a different feeling. The dressing room, you just feel it a little bit more, especially off the back of getting, battered everywhere with the weather. That's a proper away day win. There'll be an absolute buzz around Tottenham.
Absolutely. Feeling like it's real progress for them at the minute, second in the table today. And as we saw from Amy there on that tweet, Leeds really played their part today in this match, didn't they, Peter? It made it a really enjoyable watch.
Yeah, it did. I think Leeds will be fine. I think out of the clubs that have come up, I think Sunderland are doing well as well. All of them, really. I mean, Burnley, not quite as well as those two, but I think Leeds have got enough. Certainly at home, I think... in front of this crowd, with the players they've got, with the signings they've made, I think Leeds will be all right this year.
How did they test Tottenham today?
They looked solid. They were up for the battle. They made it difficult. Obviously, if we're doing a little run on Vicario after the game, they must have done all right. They were pushing right to the end. I think Tottenham had to change their formation. They were lumping on defenders towards the back end. I think that's the biggest compliment you can pay Leeds in a defeat, is they made it so difficult for Tottenham. But if they can keep building on that, they seem like they're very united as a team and they can push forward.
Well, guys, we can have a chat to Thomas Frank now because he's down in the tunnel here at Elland Road. Thomas, good to see you. Firstly, I want to apologise that we haven't come down to chat to you. Crouchy was worried about his hair in the rain.
Yeah, I thought so. I was a bit disappointed.
You said hopefully it would be your time to get the win over Daniel Farke, and it certainly was today. Just tell us why that felt like such a big win. It was great celebrations at the end.
Yeah, I think for me it was like a combination. We played 3 draws, and you want to win. I wanted to get that narrative that we can't win before international break out of the way. Then the huge respect for Leeds and Elland Road and what they have achieved up here in Daniel. They haven't lost here in more than a year at home, so we knew it would be difficult. Then I actually think our performance was very good. I think until the 80th minute or something like that, I think we were more or less in as controlled you can be in a Premier League away game. I think we looked good offensively going forward, scored some good goals, creating very, very good situation I'd like to get even more out of, and actually kept Leeds on a very minimum. I think they had the goal with the deflected shot and a tapping on the back post. I know they hit the post, but I don't think that was dangerous, if that makes sense. It looked more dangerous until the 80th minute. It was a little bit carnage, and we needed a couple of saves from Vicario.
Thomas, this is maybe one of the games in recent years Spurs may have lost. How much and how proud of the players are you? Have you instilled a mentality in them? How important was it to get that across?
And thank you. I think the mentality and the character in any team is the major foundation, in my opinion, if you want to achieve great things, because it's such a long season. It's so many difficult opponents. Premier League is relentless. The difference between teams is like so small. And there will be so many small setbacks in games. You concede a goal, you lose the ball, you need to sprint back under. You know, all those bits you need to relentlessly keep going. So I think that's the core of any team. And then of course you need to play football or forward or blah blah blah. But the core for any great team is the mentality and character.
Hey Thomas, firstly congratulations. Just interested in your relationship with Mathys. Obviously not getting into the European squad, which is big for any player, especially at a club like Tottenham, but he performed really well today. And how did you get the best out of him?
I think the biggest praise go to Mathys' mentality and actually character. Now I'm repeating myself a little bit with those two words, because to not be a established player coming in, try to get into the team, getting a major setback by not being selected for the Champions League squad, which was a massive blow, of course. The way he handled that has been super impressive. How he just trained well, the way he carry himself every day, and I'm glad. You know, he's a very good example of a player that is developing. So. I said it from the beginning, I think he can play striker, and I think against West Ham, for example, he played quite well. Things to improve. Doncaster, even better, arriving in the good situations. And now I think he took the next step, arriving in good situation and got a goal. I'm so pleased on his behalf.
And Thomas, I'd like to ask you about Mohammed Kudus as well, his first goal for Spurs today, and also Xavi Simons' performance, because you said before the match you've seen glimpses so far. How did you feel he did today?
First, Mohammed Kudus was about time, wasn't it? So it's just we got big expectations. So happy for Mo. He needed that goal. He's been good for us. I would say our best offensive player so far. But to get the winner and a goal, very good. And Xavi Simons again, I think that was his best game. Still more to come, but I think he really found some good pockets and then had some very good offensive actions.
And it's a great way to head into an international break. Where will your focus be in that time? Where do you feel you can still get better?
The first week I will completely relax and get on top and get energized. Of course, my brain is crazy, so I will think a lot of football thoughts and in that period. But then we will go again, and then we will try to be consistent and keep going.
Thomas, thank you so much for coming to join us there. Enjoy your downtime as well.
Thank you very much. Take care, guys.
Well done, Thomas.
Thank you. Big win for Thomas Frank today. It was really interesting that you asked him about the sort of resilience and fighting spirit he's got in that side, because they haven't dropped any points from winning positions this season, Peter. That's one of the biggest changes we've seen in Spurs.
And it's the biggest change that they needed. You know, he's come in there and he's talking about the mentality and the resilience, and that's the most important thing. You can look at the player after, and I think that's definitely the DNA he had at Brentford. When I was talking to him about signing players, it was about the mentality, it's about the personality, you know, how the players are, the egos, he doesn't want them. I think if you've got an ego or you think you're better than any one of your teammates, you won't last very long. And it's the human side of football. I think, yeah, we love tactics, we love the strategy of the game. It's something, we talk about endlessly, but actually everyone's human beings, and getting the best out of that human being in their job is what Thomas Frank's really, really good at. And we're seeing it come to the fore already.
And he spoke about the way Mathys has responded to not being in that Champions League squad. It was something that Mo Kudus touched on in his interview at the end as well, the way he applies himself, the way he's reacted in training. That's the perfect response from a player, Joe.
Honestly, I think people at home will just say, well, that's his job, that's what he's supposed to do. But emotionally, it's tough, not being involved in the Champions League squad. You don't travel when they go to the away games. You're at home, you're back at the training ground, training with one of the physios or the coaches. But for him to see that as a positive, he talked about he's been shooting all week, getting his shots off. So that means someone who's probably been told and really well managed. You think about the old Sir Alex Ferguson stories of, you're not going to play this week, but I really need you next week. I think that would have come into play. We're going to Bodo, but be ready. I'm going to need you at Ellen Road. And look, it's easier said than done. He's applied himself. He looked fresh. He looked ready to get that compliment of Mohammed Kudus. He didn't need to do that, but he meant it. And that's the kind of team spirit that you need. And people who aren't necessarily at the forefront, aren't your superstars, still performing, still scoring goals, massive.
And that comes from the manager, I guess, the way you deliver that news and the way you get that kind of response. Well, we can hear from the Leeds side now, because he had his chances today, didn't he? Dominic Calvert-Lewin has been speaking to Becky.
Dominic, some real late pressure there from Leeds, almost, but just couldn't quite find her way through for a point.
Yeah, frustrating afternoon. I think we were in positions in the game where we should have taken advantage and we didn't. And against good teams like Spurs, you get punished. So frustrating.
It was a good competitive performance, though, from yourselves.
Yeah, it's what we expect from ourselves. We can compete at this level and more. So we knew that Spurs were a good side. I think probably against the run of play, went 1-0 down and then worked hard to get ourselves back in the game. Good chances from myself and others that we perhaps should have taken, but that's the way it goes in the Premier League. Yeah,
they just didn't quite fall for you today.
Not today. That's the life of a striker. But you think about the next one constantly and, make sure the next one's a goal.
This place has been a fortress for Leeds United. Before your time, they sort of haven't lost here in the last year or so. What does this sort of game represent, do you think, for the club in terms of that run coming to an end?
Obviously, we're aware of the run that we're on, and this is the Premier League, and there's good teams in the Premier League. So we expected to come up against some tough opposition, but it's not to say that Ellen Road is still not a fortress, and it's still a strong place for us to play going forward.
Have you settled into Leeds life well?
Yeah, I really have. I'm loving it. I think despite the result today, I've been here 5 weeks now and really enjoying my time here. Settled in really well with the lads, and the manager's been really good with me. Made me feel very, very comfortable in my role within the team, and just looking to pass on my experience of what I've done in the past onto everybody and make everyone better.
Dominic, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Love and life at Leeds, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He didn't get the goal today, but what did he do well?
He brought others into play. I think it was crucial for the goal. His hold-up play is fantastic. Won headers in the box. The only issue is being clinical. I think he looked back at some of the chances he had maybe and think he should have scored. There was one particular one that I think maybe he could have done better. Maybe he had too many touches and he needed to place it, and it ended up over the bar. He had a great turn. But the goals will come. He's too good a player not for it to happen. As long as he stays fit, there's no doubt he'll score goals.
Do you think this is the right place at the right time for him to be?
I was really interested to see where he was going to go, actually, at the end, signing on a free Premier League experience. And I really like the fit. I do. I think he's the kind of player that will fit here at Leeds, and he's a focal point. Like you say, as Crouchy said, fitness is key for him, of course it is, but he is. He's a proven Premier League striker, and he's a handful. He's a great team player. And if he can get on that run scoring goals, he could really help Leeds with their aspirations this season.
He seems to really enjoy working with Daniel Farke as well, as he said in that interview. So we can hear from his manager now following that 2-1 defeat to Spurs.
Daniel, what's your overriding feeling of that game?
Yes, when you lose, first impression is always that you are disappointed that you don't win any points. Was more than possible today, but if you put this result to a bit to the side, the result is always the most important thing. But I'm a football manager, I can't bake result, I just can deliver performances. This is what my lads did today. We were the better side today in all aspects. We have dominated this game, should have deserved not just a point, just to really to win this game. And for that, gutted for them that we didn't win anything out of this game. But it's football, yeah. 1 or 2 mistakes on this level are sometimes punished. We had more than enough chances to score. And but after 1 or 2 days, also the boys can be proud of their performance.
Yeah, does it feel like the opportunity missed, and what kind of let you down in those crucial moments?
Yes, we normally had clear possession of the ball, especially in the first half, then gave a bit unnecessary, a bit clumsy the ball away, and then sometimes in football this is punished and with a deflected strike, and also a bit in the second situation, in the second half. Out of good intention, Gabi Gudmundsson wanted to clear the first ball, slipped then by doing this away, and then it was a bit more like a pass into the feet of Kudus, and then again deflected strike. Somehow they find a way out of this 2 situations to score 2 goals, and their goalkeeper was man of the match probably, and fantastic saves. Football is sometimes like this. Of course, we're disappointed with the result, but the lads should be proud of their performance.
Okafor getting his first home goal today. Positive in this game?
Yes, like many positives. We had so many chances, so many good situations today. I was pleased that against such a good side, Tottenham currently in the top 4, they're playing Champions League, is one of the top sides in this league, that we were able to be the better side in comparison to them. Pretty pleased with this. So many positives. Noah was one of these positives, and we can take many positives out of this game.
What does Dominic Calvert-Lewin need to keep working on and keep doing to get the next goals for Leeds?
He has scored goals since his beginning of playing football, so don't have to overdo it anyhow. So it was also today, there was an excellent assist before the first goal, also to Joel Piro's nearly goal, when Vicario was there, was a top save. Top assist, good workload again. He came today again into 2 good shooting positions. Probably should have scored, especially in the first half. Then the goal was in the second half. 1 or 2 big chances. He will score goals. I'm pretty sure what he has to do. He has to work further on like this. It's not like if you just concentrate on scoring goals, it will never work. So you have to make sure that you're a good teammate to work further on. Then sometimes you need just a scruffy goal, deflected strike anyhow, and then it's more like the goals are coming. So he's working good, he's delivering good performances. He just needs to stay patient and work further on like he does.
And finally, you haven't lost at home in over a year. I guess every run has to come to an end at some point, but so what's your emotion regarding that, and in terms of how teams see Ellen Road in the Premier League?
Yes, so first of all, I was not too much in a reflecting mode, and I didn't expect that we would go unbeaten through this season. So if I have to choose, then really with a top performance, really unlucky result against one of the top sides, and for that, then you can accept it. So I would be more disappointed. It would be a well-deserved win for the opponent. So I'm pretty happy with the performance, and I think also our support valued also, like not just the game today, but also what we've did in the last 13, 14 months. And if we deliver this performance, I'm sure we will be fine in the end.
Daniel, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Daniel Farke taking plenty of positives out of today's performance, as he should. But guys, look, 2 huge games coming up next, isn't there, for Leeds? They're at Turf Moor against Burnley, then West Ham coming here. They're massive, aren't they? Yeah,
I mean, those 2, I mean, you win against them, you're taking points off the teams in and around you as well. I mean, Forest as well, Brighton, the games that you would hope that Leeds, if they're going to stay in the division, will pick up points in.
And talking about another promoted team, Sunderland currently in action at Old Trafford. Manchester United have gone 1-0 up in that one. Mason Mount scoring for them. But for Ruben Amorim, do you see this as a must-win?
Just every 5 minutes as a Man United player or coach just feels massive, the way it swings, the emotion. We were just talking before we were going to move on to the game, it was actually 0-0, and we were saying, imagine if Sunderland get that first goal at Old Trafford. Credit to them, credit to Mason Mount. It's going to be a big moment. I'm sure it's erupted. They're trying to get behind the team, but they're just losing their way a little bit, and it doesn't feel United, if you pardon the pun, but big game for them today.
Sunderland have been impressive, she says with gritted teeth. They've shown sort of adaptability, haven't they, and togetherness so far. Maybe things we haven't been seeing from Manchester United.
Yeah, I thought they'd signed really well in the summer. I think I said at the start of the season, I thought they might be out of the three the best chance to stay up. You know, we've seen the teams that come up go back down for the last couple of years, and I thought they signed really well and have an opportunity. But from a Manchester United point of view, I feel like it's a must-win game. I think if he loses at home to Sunderland, then you know it becomes a very difficult task to keep your job.
They haven't been able to get the goalkeeper situation right as well. Bayinder's been playing, but it's Senna Lemons in goal today for them for the first time, Joe. What do you know about him and how good do you think he could be for them?
Cards on the table, I don't know a great deal, you know. I wanted to find out about him as soon as he was signed for Manchester United.
Did it surprise you that they went for him and not someone with better experience?
I know they liked him. I know that Manchester United, they definitely identified him and he fitted into what they could do, you know, with the investment they put into Onana, wages and I think it was £50 million in a club that's struggling to balance their books in terms of what they can outlay. I think it made it very difficult for what they can bring in. So look, he looks good. I've spoken to Tom Heaton, still works at the club, third or second choice goalkeeper, and he's impressed with him. He's got a good stature, good presence, very calm head on his shoulders, but it's a big job to go into. You know, good luck to him. I want any young goalkeeper coming into the Premier League to be supported, but that's been a real difficult position for Manchester United over the last couple of years. So good luck to him. I'm looking forward to seeing how he does.
It's going to be interesting.
It's easy to be a goalkeeper, really. You've just got to keep out of the net.
We'll put you in goal next week. See how you get on.
That's simple.
We'll leave it at that, shall we, guys?
Goalkeeping solved by Peter Crouch.
That's almost all we've got time for.